Imagine swapping your home office in Port of Spain or Chaguanas for a breezy co-working space in Lisbon, or answering emails from a cafe in Mexico City with pan dulce in one hand and your laptop in the other. Sounds like a fantasy, right? You see, for many of us in the Caribbean, it has felt that way for a long time. We don't often see people who look like us, who move like us, or live like us in the digital nomad space. So we assume it's not for us. But I'm here to change all of that, because digital nomad visas are opening new doors. And yes, that includes you too. These visas are legal pathways that let remote workers, freelancers, and entrepreneurs live abroad for 6 to 12 months or longer without breaking immigration rules. The thing is, not every country offers one, and qualifying can be a bit of a maze. Income thresholds, criminal record checks, relocation logistics, and that includes pets, and whether your Caribbean passport can even get you there. So, in this guide, we're cutting through the fluff, and you're going to learn what a digital nomad visa actually is, which countries are offering them in 2025, how you can qualify, especially if you're from Trinidad Tobago or the wider Caribbean, why this lifestyle might be more attainable than you think. Because the truth is, we deserve to live, work, and explore the world without guessing or gatekeeping. Let's get into it. Hi guys, I'm Ricqcolia, a content marketer, digital nomad in the making, and your Caribbean go-to for remote lifestyle content that actually makes sense. Today we're diving into something that I've been obsessing over lately, and that's digital nomad visas. So why am I considering digital nomad visas? Well, honestly, I've known that they've existed for years. I know that they started coming out since the pandemic back in 2020. Many countries over the years have started to introduce their own version of digital nomad visas. And I always thought that these were nice to have and really cool to check out. But for a long time, I felt that it wasn't really for me, in the sense that I probably did not meet the criteria or the income threshold, or it just would be a bit of a harder hurdle for me to jump through. But at the end of 2024, I started to do a bit of a deep dive into digital nomad visas. And the more I looked into it, the more I started to realize that, hey, the criteria for entry or eligibility is a lot more easily accessible than I thought, especially coming from Trinidad and Tobago. And the way that my work is set up between my freelance and my business, I have a real shot at becoming a digital nomad. And when I started looking more into the digital nomad visas and realizing as well that this was an actual possibility, I got really excited, and I've been down the rabbit hole for the last almost 4 months now, researching and getting more insight into not only what it takes to get the visa, but also what life would actually be like in countries that I've been considering. So because I've been nerding out and geeking out over digital nomad visas over the last, almost 4 months, I think I'm in a really good position to really share a lot of insight into the entire world of digital nomad visas, as well as some of the processes and all of that. So we're going to start things off with the basics. What exactly is a digital nomad visa? A digital nomad visa, or DNV, is a legal residence permit that allows remote workers to live and work in a foreign country while maintaining employment or freelance clients based outside of the country of your choice. It's very different from a tourist visa. Tourist visas usually last between 30 and 90 days and don't allow you to legally work, while DNVs can last between 6 to 12 months or longer and give you legal access to housing, services, and much more. While on the surface, digital nomad visas may sound as if it's exclusively for digital nomads, i.e. freelancers and business owners and entrepreneurs, it's actually also very much open to remote employees. That is, those who are fully employed, working for a company, but their contract explicitly allows them to work remotely. This is great for people from the Caribbean who want to stay legally long-term without having to jump through the whole expat residency hoop right away. As of March 2025, there are over 66 countries offering some form of digital nomad visa or its equivalent, and the list keeps growing. But here's the thing. Not all destinations are created equal. Some have better infrastructure for remote workers, while others are more culturally immersive, pet-friendly, or easier on the wallet. Whether you're looking for a low cost of living, access to nature, or just a slower pace of life, here are some destinations you should seriously consider, starting with Europe. Spain is a mix of big city energy and laid-back Mediterranean living. Spain is known for its culture, coastlines, and top-tier public healthcare. Cities like Valencia and Barcelona are super pet-friendly, expat-friendly, and have thriving digital nomad communities. Portugal offers one of the most seamless transition for remote workers. It's affordable, it's very affordable for a continent like Europe. It's super walkable and easy to navigate without a car. Lisbon and Porto have excellent public transport, tax perks, and English is widely spoken. Let's head over to Latin America and the Caribbean. If you're into nature, wellness, and eco-conscious living, Costa Rica might be your vibe. The DNV is straightforward, and the country is known for its peacefulness and outdoor lifestyle. It's a great option if you want to slow down without disconnecting. Want to try digital nomad life without leaving the Caribbean? Barbados offers the 12-month welcome stamp, giving you a chance to ease into the nomad lifestyle. It's English-speaking, has good infrastructure, and is close enough to home if you're not ready to jump continents yet. Let's travel to South America, Colombia. Medellin is one of the most popular cities for nomads in the region. Great climate, low cost of living, and a friendly vibe that makes it excellent as a first nomad base. It also has strong Wi-Fi and a growing tech scene. Argentina. Buenos Aires is often called Paris of South America. If you want culture, cafe life, and big city energy without big city prices, the Argentine peso makes it one of the most affordable places to live. Now we're going to head over to the motherland, Africa, Mauritius. This island off the coast of East Africa is tropical, peaceful, and offers a 1-year visa for nomad workers. English and French are widely spoken, and the cost of living is relatively affordable. Namibia offers stunning desert landscapes, safety, and low population density. Perfect for introverts who need space and silence. And lastly, let's head to Asia. Thailand, a favorite for a reason. With low cost of living, reliable healthcare, and vibrant nomad hubs like Chiang Mai and Bangkok, Thailand balances tradition with modern living. Vietnam, rapidly developing with great food, fast Wi-Fi, and a warm, welcoming culture. Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City are popular with nomads, especially those starting out. So now that we have an overview of some of the best places to get a digital nomad visa, let's talk paperwork. Because yes, digital nomad life comes with admin. First off, you'll need to prove that you can sustain yourself financially and your income is coming from outside the country you're moving to. That could take the form of contracts, client letters, business registration, etc. You also have to have proof of your income, and that can usually range between 2,500 euro or 3,000 euro a month. Some countries require more and some may require less. In the cases of Asia or South America, you may actually need less. You need to have a clean criminal record, international health insurance that is authorized to operate in the country of your choice. You need to have a local address, even if it's a temporary or a rental. You need to ensure that you have that address ready as a part of the application. And of course, all the relevant application fees, which can range between 100 to 2,000 US, depending on the country. Now, I want to weigh out all the pros and cons of having a DNV. This lifestyle may look dreamy on Instagram, but there are serious trade-offs you have to consider. We're starting with the pros, including being able to legally stay without the anxiety of overstaying or border hopping. You get access to rentals, housing, and banking, essentially being able to access all or most of the services that a resident or national would. Some countries also offer pretty great tax breaks or incentives, like in the case of Greece, where you get a 50% tax break. You also get access to better healthcare in continents like Europe, specifically countries like Spain and Portugal, where their healthcare is ranked as some of the best globally. And lastly, you get the ability to fully immerse in the country and plan long term if you actually want to live in this country, if you happen to fall in love with this particular place and its culture. So the cons for acquiring a DNV includes the bureaucracy, depending on the country. The process can be long and clunky. You also need to pay attention to time zones, especially if your clients or employers are based in the Caribbean or US. Another con is that some countries will try to tax your global income. So when you're doing your research and you realize, okay, this is the country of choice that I absolutely want to live in, be sure to read the fine print and ensure what the tax requirements are for you and if your global income will be taxed. Another con is relocating your pets. Relocating your pets isn't cheap or easy, especially if you're from the islands. I can tell you this from experience because right now I'm looking into everything associated with relocating my 2 cats because my 2 cats are non-negotiables. They are my fur babies. They are my children. I am not doing this without them. Now, before you even think about applying, before you think about dropping an application fee in, you need to ask yourself these 5 questions. These are 5 questions that I asked myself before I began the application process. The first is, can you handle the language barrier? Essentially, will you be okay in a country where English isn't the first language? Visiting a country where English isn't the first language is completely different to living in a country where English isn't the first language. It's a lot easier to stay as a tourist in major cities and in capitals and in very big tourist hubs where more often than not, the residents and the locals do speak English as a second language. But that's completely different to actually living in a city or a town where English may or may not necessarily be their second language. If you are not comfortable with foreign languages or you don't intend to pick up another language anytime soon, I would advise that maybe reconsider that country that's on your list or maybe start looking at other countries where English is the first language. Another question you want to ask yourself is, will time zones clash with my job? And this is a very real thing. And I'll give you an example. I spent a month in the UK back in November 2024 for exactly this reason. It was really to kind of test the waters and see what it would be like living in Scotland. And not just living life in Scotland, but also to see what it would be like living in the UK while I'm on a Caribbean work time zone. In the beginning, I thought I could handle it. The UK is typically between 4 to 5 hours ahead of Trinidad and Tobago. So I thought, all I have to do, get up at 8 a.m. UK time when it's still about 4 a.m. TT time, do all my work, knock everything out, and then I can just go explore and live life. And I quickly learned that was not the case. I was lying to myself. Because the reality is, as much as you may be able to be a few hours ahead and knock out your work, you still are expected to be available, and things may pop up during the course of the TT or your Caribbean time zone. You have to be on standby and readily available, even if you are 4, 5, even 12 hours ahead in the country of your choice. So you have to keep this in mind realistically. If you are able to maintain your time zone locally in the country of your choice, while still be able to deal with the time zone difference with your Trinidad client, Caribbean clients, or even US client. You also want to ask yourself what the healthcare system is like. Can I access healthcare easily in case of an emergency? So yes, we're thinking about emergency, but you also want to think about day-to-day in terms of dentists and doctor appointments and visits and all of that. For me, this was very critical. The way I saw it was, if I'm going to be living in a foreign country and I'm by myself, the very least I need to do is ensure that I have the safety and security of access to great healthcare at my convenience, especially as I am not a resident or local of the country. Now, this one may be more pertinent to you if you're bringing, but you also want to find out if the country of your choice is pet friendly. So in the case of, let's say here in Trinidad and Tobago, most landlords don't allow pets. So you want to ensure that the country of your choice are pet friendly. If landlords are allowing you to keep your pets, this includes the quarantine rules. And the fifth and last but most important question you want to ask yourself is, can I actually afford to live in this country long term? Now, something you have to keep in mind is that the DNV represents a huge shift in your life. So if you are living comfortably in Trinidad or the Caribbean, you have to ask yourself, can what I'm currently earning allow me to also live comfortably in the country of my choice?
Edison Ricqcolia here. I was going through my raw footage and I realized that I had something that appears to be a booger in my nose. It's actually really my nose ring that got shifted around while I was shooting. But I mean, I spent a long time recording that video and I'm like, I'm not gonna go back and record this. So I just wanted to insert this quick PSA that that was not a booger. It's just my nose ring, not a booger. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Especially if you're going to be living in any one of the countries in Europe, because you're now going from your local currency in Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, or Grenada, what have you, to now having to live and operate in euro. And we know that exchange rate is pretty high. So before you get into the thick of things, you need to make a plan, make a budget, and determine based on what you're currently earning, as well as any projected new earnings, which be able to comfortably live in another country. And beyond that, other things you have to take into consideration beyond the day-to-day, of course, the visa fees, but rent, insurance, flights. When you're moving to another country, there are a lot of upfront fees that you have to pay. So this is a pretty amazing opportunity, but it can also be pretty costly. You need to keep all these things in mind in terms of the realities of moving and migrating to another country, and then of course the day-to-day of living in said country before you decide to go all in. Think of this as part of your self-check-in before you submit anything. I mentioned at the start of this video that I've been deep diving into countries and which countries I think would suit me the most and where I can see myself comfortably living, and which countries suit quality of life that I want for myself. I eventually ended up doing a bit of a mini short list. It actually ended up coming down to Spain. Now, Spain for me is pet friendly. It has great healthcare. They have been ranked globally for having the best healthcare in the world. They have a solid infrastructure and a lifestyle that I think just gets me. Portugal was also a top contender. It's warm, it's affordable, it's a fantastic country for creatives. I visited there last year and had an amazing time. It was more than just the sights and sounds, it was the people and the atmosphere, the environment. Like, it just felt right and comfortable. So it definitely was up there in my short list. But ultimately, Spain won my heart. Spain was the perfect combination of the quality of life, public services, access to healthcare, and cities that felt international but not overwhelmingly so. Digital nomad visas are unlocking new possibilities. Caribbean people deserve to explore, thrive, and build lives that stretch beyond borders. In my next video, I'm going to be sharing a complete walkthrough of Spain's DNV application. Plus, I'll be doing a full budget breakdown of what I'm spending to make this happen. So please hit that subscribe button if this is a new on your radar and you want to just get more insight and tips and guidance as to how you can live as a digital nomad. Drop a comment below and let me know which countries on your digital nomad visa list. Let's dream out loud together. This will be one of a series of videos that I'm doing all around DNVs and getting to Spain and all of that. You'll be getting access and insight into the entire process as much as possible so you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. That's it for me, guys. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.